Good morning. I'm out here at Wildwood Metro Park. Was just working on the third lesson of Fictioneering this morning. It is the camp scene from the Adventures of Tom Sawyer by Mark Twain. And it's a scene of a beautiful sunrise, which I'll probably do a video talking about my favorite parts. But I hand copied it, took about 33 minutes of writing, and I woke up way earlier than usual today. I was just ready to be awake, even before the dawn. And so I started working on that lesson, and writing is all about the process. And it was such a beautiful scene of boys in nature, and it inspired me to come out to my local metro park and to incorporate that into my writing process before I do the second phase of Fictioneering, which is where you basically use a thesaurus to translate and reskin the story into one of your own creation with your own characters, your own setting. And coming to the park is such a mindset shift. First of all, it's like getting in touch with, well, what does it mean to be in nature? Maybe I'll make my version of the story something about my local metro park or something. And it's just interesting how setting can influence your mindset. Like, definitely being in nature, it definitely attracts a different crowd. Obviously, I'm here at I don't know, it's like a little past 8:30 in the morning, and a lot of retirees. When I was entering the forest, some old timers were saying hello to each other as if they're regulars, because the 9 to 5 crowd is hustling on a Friday, but I'm having a bit of a fun Friday here, enjoying some early retirement. And there's a church bell in the distance, a good call to be mindful. Sounds like the classic doorbell. And a lot of blue jays out today. They do often shriek, and in the excerpt from the camp scene of The Adventures of Tom Sawyer, he describes, I believe, a shrieking blue jay swooping down or descending like a blue flame. And I was like, oh my gosh. Mark Twain's writing in that excerpt is very mindful. So much of today in entertainment is we're desensitized. Stories, movies, etc. can be very shocking or traumatic or obscene, but it's nice to know that Twain was really just re-entering the mind of a child. And one thing I noticed from the excerpt is he's paying very close attention to the insects. And as I was reading that part, I realized when I was a kid, I think as you're just crawling around and down on your knees and in the grass and just in the most random places, climbing in trees, just playing with sticks in the grass, poking yourself, noticing things, sitting in the grass. I realized I came into contact with a lot more bugs as a kid. You just turn over rocks, put salt on a slug. Did that a few times. Don't do it because it's probably cruel, but pulling the legs off of a daddy long legs in your basement. Just the weird stuff you do as a kid, catching fireflies. Okay, enough about cruelty to bugs, but catching roly-polies, collecting cicada shells. I used to collect cicada shells. Seeing the green wetness of a freshly hatched cicada that can't fly yet because it's still wet and gooey. So one thing I noticed is as a kid, when you're just down in the dirt, you notice a lot more bugs. Whereas being an adult is, I mean, maybe I'm speaking for myself, but it's much more of an antiseptic experience where you don't want to get dirty and all that stuff. But anyways, as I was entering the park, this old timer had a crazy twinkle in his eye and said, "Enjoy your time here." And it's just nice that the crowd is inviting, welcoming. Everyone says good morning, is going about their business, very peaceful. And as you get older in age, like, how many more years do you have? How many more years do any of us have? And other impressions as I entered the forest, it's, what is today, March 8th? Spring has not yet sprung, but the earliest signs are there. Like, in the garden area, I saw some buds, a few, like maybe only 2 different kinds that were getting ready. They were forming buds and preparing for the bloom. And, you know, doing the root work in winter, everybody's toiling, and at some point you'll have something to show for it. And how hard does nature work? And yet all of a sudden things just arrive. Some things are evergreen, but I was thinking about that here, and I looked on the forest floor, and there's all like the dead leaves of last fall, you know, reminders of last summer, and lining the floor. And like, that's where we're at. It's like all those leaves are like the things we've done in the past, papers we've written, things we've done, past harvests, things we've already done. And it just feels like right now, when you're wanting to manifest things and they're not arriving yet, nature was telling me, like, that's okay. Like, you have things to show for the past. They're on the forest floor. And, you know, the lilies of the field, they toil not, or something, basically like that Bible verse. But nature doesn't have to work too hard, and you look at the trees and you know they're going to bloom. And so I think about that with my own life. Like, you can see the leaves on the floor of the past. You know, you've had summers and harvests before, and blooms and blossomings and good things happening in life, and the fruits of labor. And seeing that all here, I look at the trees and it's like, well, yeah, they're very bare, but you know it's coming in the next like month or two. It'll get greener and greener, and then more lush with summer. And I don't come here too much during the summer because the mosquitoes just absolutely eat you alive. So there's pros and cons to any given season. But yeah, those are my thoughts coming here. I was gonna do a YouTube live, but I don't have that feature yet because I'm under 50 subscribers apparently. So, but this is basically what I wanted to say, is reflections on Fictioneering Lesson 3, reflections on nature and how it affects your state of mind, how certain places attract certain people at certain times, like place and time, right place, right time. Metro Park, you know, at 8:30 or 9 a.m. on a Friday is a very privileged crowd. It's a good place to be. So yeah, I'm gonna keep walking, then get breakfast of some kind, and just have myself a fun, relaxing Friday. Perhaps work on the thesaurus part of the Fictioneering lesson, see what I come up with. Perhaps save that for tomorrow morning. Gotta practice having fun, gotta practice being aimless, gotta practice staying in flow, gotta do like nature does. So anyways, that's about it, y'all. Just found this nice little gazebo bench and felt like doing a little chat. So life is good. Take this as your sign to get out to a park to do some writing, do some journaling, some scripting if you prefer, a mix of like journaling, what's going on, clear your mind out, a mix of scripting, like writing things as though they are. You know, I wouldn't mind winning the lottery. If I did win the lottery, I wouldn't tell anyone, but there would be signs. Namely, I'd be at a local metro park much more often. So anyways, guys, thanks for tuning in. Do some writing today. And go for a walk in nature. All right. May God richly bless you.